Hello, I'm about to introduce Catherine Spiczka. She grew up in Detroit, Michigan, and began her post-secondary education journey right after high school in the fall of 1989. In June 1999, she joined the Air Force and served her country until retiring in August of 2019 after 20 years. During her service, she deployed 5 times to interesting locations such as Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Qatar. While serving, she continued striving for higher education goals, earning 2 Associates of Applied Science degrees from the Community College of the Air Force. She currently resides in Surprise, Arizona, with her husband and teenage son. She will be graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology from St. Leo University in May 2021, and this is her presentation of her senior thesis.
Thank you, Dr. O'Brien. I'd like to get started. My study was done on happiness in retirement. When it comes to all of the growing numbers of retired individuals and the increased life expectancy, it made me think about why are some people happy when they retire and why are some people not so happy. And I wanted to do the study to look at the life choices and how those impact satisfaction when it comes to retirement. So the literature review, some of the theories that I found or the themes that emerged were strong social relationships and networks was a key factor, active living and leisure activities. Also, good health and a balanced state of mind came forward in those themes, and as well as secure income and socioeconomic status. So looking at those theories from the review, it looked like there could be some more research that could be done, and so that led to my study. Go ahead, next slide, sorry. Most of the studies that I found when I did my research for the literature were all done in European or Asian countries. And I found one that was done in the United States, but that one only had women participants. So there needed to be more research done with Americans and using men and women, and that was what my study did entail. The purpose of the project then again was to study how the choices throughout their life have impacted their satisfaction and happiness in retirement. So I did my research question, and since it is dealing with retirement and satisfaction, I needed to use purposeful sampling because I needed certain participants in order to be able to answer that question. And that led to the participants being 5 males and 5 females between the ages of 67 and 74. They had to have been retired for at least 2 years to be able to understand whether or not, that they were in the retirement phase. And my participants ended up being all Caucasian. I did semi-structured interviews, and those lasted an average of 26 minutes. The shortest was 21 and the longest 40. I digitally recorded them using my Zoom H5 recorder. I transcribed 4 manually, and I also then used the transcription software, the Otter AI, and that was really helpful as far as helping with the transcription on the last remaining 6 interviews. I then coded the interviews, first with using open coding, then kind of axial coding, trying to look for different branches from the open coding, and then the deductive coding used from some of the themes that came from the literature review. course, I applied ethical standards. Each participant was given a written consent form, which was signed prior to any of the interviews taking place. I stored all of my data with a password protected computer and a locked safe, and pseudonyms were used for all the participants' identifying information to make sure that I kept their confidentiality. Once my senior class is done, all the data from the study will be destroyed, which will be coming up soon in May. I received my ARB approval in January of 2021. So then I started to get participants lined up for my interviews. 6 of the 10 were conducted face-to-face, but I followed the social distancing guidelines with COVID going on. 4 people were conducted using telephone interviews, 1 because of location, and then the other 3 were concerned with the pandemic and did not want to meet face-to-face. That did lead to some missing of the verbal cues or the facial expressions for those 4, but you know, when you're in a pandemic, you got to do what you need to do in order to complete the study. So with the age difference, I did have to work a little bit harder on establishing rapport on some of the individuals, just so that I was not seen as an outsider to the age group. But most of the interviews flowed smoothly. Some people were a little bit harder on getting them to open up and give me more information. So the findings found that, just like in the literature review, that social relationships and connections was very strong. These included anyone from spouse, their children, their extended family, and their friends. The research found that all the participants mentioned some form of relationship or connection as a source of happiness in their retirement. And so some of their quotes were, your relationships with family is probably the most important because it's your support system. And to me, life is friends and family. And also we need relationships in our life. So that was very strong on the, like I said, in all the participants. Also, then the findings also found that living an active life was very common in the interviews as well. All but one of the respondents said that they kept active most of the time and had many different types of activities that they participated in, which was walking, working out at the gym, golfing, swimming, and bike riding. And these participants usually also included that their spouse or their friends were someone that, again, participated in those activities with them. And it kind of tied back again with those social relationships. So another one was also that a lot of the people participated in leisure activities, kind of keeping themselves busy. So those included anything from traveling, volunteering, getting together, playing cards, and attending church. And it was very interesting that most of the people had stated that their church attendance increased as they got older, and that their spouse always attended with them. So that was another strong connection that they had socially with the people in their church and with their spouse. Financial stability was pretty common for the point that people that had a pension or good savings said that being financially secure was what led to or provides satisfaction in retirement for them. Knowing that they're going to be okay, that they have enough money to take care of things or in any emergencies was strong in 4 of the respondents. The other 6 were more along the lines of that money was not as important. Other things kind of with those relationships and that were important more so than having money. And so that was interesting as well. So, and the retirement mindset, this one was a theme that I really didn't expect to have come up, but 3 of the respondents said that they love having the free will that retirement brings. And some of the quotes were, happiness in retirement to me is being free to make your own schedule for the day. And I love being retired. I love the freedom, and I love the fact, that I can kind of do my own thing, so to speak. So I love being in control of my life. So that really kind of set them up that they were the ones that had all the power. And so areas for future research, obviously with COVID-19 and the time constraints of the class and having to do some of the telephone interviews, that would be better if in different times that all the research could be done face to face. Also to have more of a diverse sampling, since my participants ended up only being all Caucasian. They had different socioeconomic status, but being that they were all the same race, I think kind of hindered a little bit in the study. And additional research obviously could always include more participants to kind of get a better sampling, and then also to have some that maybe are single. I know I had one that was widowed, but she was recently widowed. So, she was used to having that spouse there, and obviously she's starting to learn how to live by being by herself, but she had been married for 50 years. So it was, just different. She wasn't a single and haven't been single for a long time. And some lessons learned was that transcribing is a very lengthy process. It is something that they stress to you, and I should have gotten started much sooner. And also to that even if you use the software, it can be helpful, but you still have to go through it and actually make sure that everything is correct, what the transcription software came up with. So that it is a lengthy process, and start early. And then also, if you can line up participants so that you kind of have some fallback people, that would be something that's very beneficial, because that way you're not scrambling kind of at last minute to find somebody else who could participate in the study. So some things to lead with is that everyone is really on their own life course. And these decisions that you make can affect how your life ends up turning out in retirement. And so this study then looked at what those significant factors that lead to satisfying life in the retirement years. Thank you for your time.